Welcome back to another episode of MotoGP Mac, and today we're going to talk about the sprint race that just happened for the Argentinian Grand Prix. Now, before we get into it, here's how it finished. Marc Marquez won it from Alex Marquez, Pecco Bagnaia, Johan Zarco, Fabio Di Giannantonio, Marco Bezzecchi, Franco Morbidelli, Joan Mir, Pedro Acosta, Franco Morbidelli, Jack Miller, Alex Rins, Luca Marini, Enea Bastianini, Aya Agura, Raul Fernandez, Sam Kitchandra, Maverick Vinales, and Fermin Aldegar. Lorenzo Salvadori retired. Miguel Oliveira crashed out with, I believe, Fermin Aldegar. And Brad Binder did touch, I think, with Morbidelli at the opening lap and crashed. So, the race. Well, look, at the front, it was kind of status quo from Thailand, except this time Mark didn't really have a major advantage over everyone. He did finish a second ahead of Alex, but you could see there was only about a tenth or two in their laps. He did make some gap at the start of it, but to be fair, Alex did really keep him honest, let's just call it. Alex did have a good strong race, was close to Mark. You could see he was using Mark as a marker, especially in the third sector, but overall I thought, Alex rode a really good, consistent race. No mistakes, really good race from him. Pecco Bagnaia, very much so struggling in the braking zones with the bike. You can really see it. The back of the bike is massively stepping out underneath the brakes, and it's you can see it's really actually affecting the corner entry for Pecco. But saying that, solid race out of him, 3 seconds back. When you look at where he was yesterday, in first practice, 1.3 seconds off Pecco. In second practice, 5/10, half a second behind him. Today down to 3/10 on race pace, which is not actually that bad for Pecco. Maybe a little bit less actually than 3/10. Seeing as he normally actually doesn't go well in this circuit. Johan Zarco, definitely my rider of the race. Like, there on genuine pace, was closing in on Pecco, keeping Pecco very honest. Absolutely mega for him. And, it is a real pleasant surprise to see him up there. I genuinely thought he would be top 10, but not into top 8, top 5. Nice to be proved wrong by Zarco. Fabio Di Giannantonio had a solid race. Not an amazing race, but a solid race. Marco Bezzecchi, I had a little bit more in mind looking at his pace yesterday and this morning. I thought he could be up there, but just didn't seem to happen. Franco Morbidelli, good, solid race. Let's just call it like that. It is very interesting to see him up there. Joan Mir, again, good solid race out of Mir. He didn't do so well in quali, but he did get into Q2, but in Q2 didn't really make much advances forward. But in the race, definitely looked well. Pedro Acosta next up. Not a bad race. Went forward and then came backwards. Very similar story for Fabio Quartararo. Was up battling with Pecco Bagnaia in fourth and for third and fourth, but just slipped backwards, got beaten up a small bit, lost his rhythm, and ended up 10th. Jack Miller, again, good ride from Jack. Coming forward, no real going backwards. So it was good to see him. Alex Rins kind of dropped from a stone. Definitely doesn't have the pace to run with many on the Yamaha. Luca Marini, better weekend, I will call it so far. Not amazing. Still a good chunk behind Mir. Maybe like 6 seconds behind him in the 12 lap race. So still half a second behind his own teammate. But saying that, it is definitely better than last season. Enea Bastianini, well, look, the struggle continues. Aya Agura, very calm race this time compared to 2 weeks ago when he shone like a diamond in a goat's ass. Kind of ended up where we would expect a rookie, to be fair. But again, ahead of his teammate, which is the main thing. You know, Raul Fernandez finishing behind Aya Agura, who's never been on the circuit, on a MotoGP bike. Samkit Chantra, not a bad session overall, you know, not too far behind Raul Fernandez either, so, you know, big up to him, impressive. Maverick Vinales, you know, not a good day in the office for Maverick. Fermin Aldeguer did crash with Miguel Oliveira. I believe it's going to be investigated after the race to see if there's a penalty there. But, you know, good to see him up there battling and not afraid of the, let's just say, the people that are well established in the class. Lorenzo Savadori, I just saw him pitting in, not sure what exactly happened. As we know, Miguel Oliveira clashed with Fermin Aldeguer, and Brad Binder on the opening lap clashed with Franco Morbidelli. Investigated by the stewards and no further action was required on it. All in all, look, I thought the race was quite good. It's very evident for Pecco there is something amiss. We did find out that he's not actually running a true 2024 engine, nor is Mark. Nor is Digi. They're all running a slightly updated with some 2025 parts in the engine. It's not just a pure exact GP24 engine. So maybe that is causing something to do with it. Is the flywheel heavier or something like that? Let's wait and see. It is pretty interesting to see him struggle, but still saying that, you know, Mark, you know, there is no answer today for Mark for Pecco. You know, Alex tried, and he did, to be fair, keep him honest, you know, within maybe a tenth of a second a lap if you look at it over race distance. All in all, though, for me, the rider that stands out today is Johan Zarco on a Honda, 4th position, on pace, in a race, no luck or no people crashing out in front of him, keeping Pecco very, very honest. And realistically, when we look at it, a Honda 5 seconds from winning a race. But I would definitely love to know your thoughts. Who do you think is rider of the day, and what stood out to you most? Definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video.